Another week of Solana NFT tradings is in the book, and what we're talking about in this video is what is really going to drive the market in the upcoming week ahead. What are some of the mints that I'm particularly excited about? And then, of course, we're going to be talking about airdrop season because we are in the midst of tons of airdrops that are happening. Free money is getting rained down everywhere. So get ready as we talk about what's going on in Solana NFTs this week. So at the end of last week, I actually launched a TikTok account, and I think that makes me the oldest person on TikTok at this time. I'm definitely one of the only people I've seen with gray in their beard, and it's going to be all about short videos where I'm just talking about things that I see happening in the market that day or what I'm expecting that day. And at the end of that week, I started talking about how it's airdrop season, and airdrops are happening all over the place. But before I jump into that, of course, I've got to hit you with the disclaimer stuff. None of this stuff should ever be considered financial or legal advice. I am not a professional in either one of those realms or departments. I'm just an enthusiastic person who's talking to their friends about the things that I am excited about. So always do your own research and always do what's best for you and your situation. Okay. Airdrop season is among us. And in that TikTok video, I only had like 30 seconds or 60 seconds or whatever it was to talk, and I actually couldn't fit all of the things that I had on my list into that video. I'm a bit of a talker anyway. I rattled off like 7 or 8 things that were airdropping starting that weekend, and some of the things that actually did get airdropped, we didn't even know that they were happening. Things like the Solana Monkettes. So what we're going to do now is take a close look about what was actually airdropped, what is about to be airdropped, and how is the market responding to that, and what's really driving the market anyways. Let's check it out. So this Twitter account, at SoulFloorWatch, launched over the weekend, and it's actually a really great account, really informative, where they kind of post updates about how specific floors of specific projects are moving throughout the day. This is an interesting tweet, though. Watching the Solana market cap this week. Now, I believe they meant the Solana NFT market cap. What is the total market cap for NFTs? Because these statistics, these numbers here underneath it wouldn't make any sense if they did. So I'm going to presume that they meant Solana NFTs. But this is an interesting thing. For the past few weeks, it had been consistently declining from 1.2 billion to 500 million, but now it started climbing again within the past few days to 590 million. Okay, well, 500 to 590, that's like a 20% increase over the past few days. And when we look at this, we're thinking about the overall health and ecosystem of NFTs in general, not just specific projects. But when all projects are growing, then the ecosystem, the total market cap, starts to move with it. Now, what could possibly be driving this? What you really see oftentimes is a bit of a lag between the ecosystem's NFT values and the actual coin itself. For instance, what you would see when you see Sol, if this is the price of Sol or the market cap of Sol in blue, it would look something kind of like this right now. And across the bottom would be, today's date. So Sol, earlier in the past week or so, has started bouncing off because of the spillover effect that comes from Bitcoin. 2 weeks ago, we saw Bitcoin go on this absolutely massive run. It hit all-time highs middle to late last week. And then, of course, the spillover effect happened. It rolled into Ethereum, which then rolled into alts. And now Sol is right up there, right, getting close to its all-time high. It's trading at or over $200 a pop. So what you kind of expect to see now is as Sol flatlines, as it goes consistently sideways for a while, people then start to take profits and rotate them into NFTs and other assets that could hold Sol and accumulate more Sol as kind of a leverage play. So personally, I think it's a good time to be holding NFTs. I think it's a good time to try and accumulate before, the next big bull run. I'm particularly excited about it. I believe that it's going to happen, but look, the space is also unpredictable. Anything could happen. There could be any sort of FUD. And that's why we always say you need to do your own research and do what's best for you and your situation. Ultimately, NFTs for me are more or less a hobby. It's not like my existence in life, and not all of my income or assets or anything like that are in NFTs. But this is still, it's a very exciting time to be in this leveraged play. So I think what's driving the market right now is Sol for the past couple days has been around $200, 200 US dollars per one Sol, and people are starting to move that capital in, and that's why you're starting to see it take off in an upward trend right now. So we expect, if logic dictates how this should work, then money and capital should flow into the Sol ecosystem, and hopefully we're gonna see a bull run in the next few days. But who knows? Anything could happen, right? So what happened over this last week, or what happened over this last weekend? Well, we had some pretty big sales. Of course, the Jungle Cats minted, and they've already seen some great success. Their floor is holding steady. They had a 100, I think it was 150 Sol sale yesterday, which is a very nice sale for a project that's less than a week old. But Monkeys also saw a sale of 1,730. It was a 0 at Zombie. And Geckos saw a 2,000 Sol sale. That was one of their faction leaders sold last week. So we saw some really big influx of capital, some big sales that took place, which was pretty exciting. And then airdrop season hit us over the weekend. Let's check them out. Yesterday, the Solana Monkettes finally airdropped. Turns out that they took a snapshot on the previous Monday of all of the people who had monkeys in their wallet, delisted, part of the Monkey DAO, and they were airdropped one Monkette into their wallet, and that's how Monkettes were distributed. They also had a private, or a secret mint, I should say. I believe they minted for one Sol, and out of nowhere, like a secret mint just went live, and it was, hey, the mint was a success, now they're listed on Magic Eden, and boom, all of a sudden, everything started taking off. Now, to no one's surprise, or it should be not a surprise at all, that the Monkettes are being very, very successful. They are very similar. They are similar enough to the monkeys that it's hard to deny the success that the monkeys have had, and just the sheer, like, standing on the shoulders of giants takes place here, and the Monkettes are very successful. Now, the Monkey DAO wants it to be very clear that they are in no way endorsing the Monkettes or affiliated with the Monkettes in any way. Their wallet is open to the world. Anybody can see it, and anybody can send stuff to it, but that doesn't mean you get anything in return, and it doesn't mean that you get any sort of, like, blessing or affiliated endorsement or anything like that. That being said, most individual monkey holders, in fact, I haven't seen one individual monkey holder yet that disagrees with this, they love the Monkettes. They do. And the supply is very, very limited at 3,333. So there's a limited supply. Monkeys individually, not as a collective DAO, but individually absolutely love the Monkettes. And it really is just not surprising. The only thing that's surprising to me is that the floor isn't higher. 17.4, though, in less than 24 hours, over 20,000, closing in on 21,000 volume in less than 24 hours. An average sales price of 9.91. That's going to go way up when the floor is only 17.4 right now. I mean, come on, this has got to be a slam dunk, right? So, nonetheless, I was airdropped one, and then I bought 3 more. But I'm ending up selling those to my friends at the cost that I bought them for. I bought them at like 4 Sol, like right when they launched. I jumped in, and I've got some close friends who are trying to get into the NFT space, so I'm going to sell it to my friends at cost, so that way they get in early and can experience the thrill of being a Monkette holder. So that's what's going on with this airdrop. The market is clearly responding very positively to it. Now let's talk about the Gecko airdrops. There were 2 this weekend. So now on Solana, whenever you click on the Geckos section here, it's going to actually ask you, well, which of the 3 Gecko collections do you want to look at? Do you want to look at Enigma Crystals? Do you want to look at Concordians? Or do you want to look at Geckos? Well, obviously we had the Geckos before. So what came next were the Enigma Crystals. Now, originally their intention for the Enigma Crystals was they had this mechanic on their website where you were going to add your team and you were going to get a crystal back, and then you had to wait a week. That they had a mechanic that was a little tricky to deploy, so they went ahead and just airdropped these. They did a snapshot of the wallets. I think it was Thursday or Friday, and then they airdropped these over the weekend. So the crystals came out, and you could basically tell the attributes apart, or the rares on these crystals, based on the number of colors that they have. For instance, I've got my eye on this guy right here. It looks like like these are like all purples and then a blue, that to me symbolizes that this Enigma crystal is more rare than the others, as opposed to something like this where you see like a pink, a neon green, a kind of bluish aqua teal, and then a dark purple where there's 4 unique colors. So that one means it's more common, I think, is how they divvy this up. Now, the price action has been pretty good on this so far. Not a huge amount of volume taking place here, but also not a lot of listings. Only 79 items right now on Solana are listed because nobody really wants to part with their crystal. This is a very, at least we've been told, this is a very critical part to the storyline and the lore itself. So really, I think the only reason that you would want to get rid of a crystal is if you had too many. There was a potential for people to end up with multiple if they had multiple sets of geckos, or if they had more than 4 geckos effectively. Then they had a chance to get more crystals than the average one, which I only got 1, which is fine. I'm not upset about that. I was very happy with it. Then also what came out were the Concordians. This was what was behind the garage door. These are kind of little droid people. And what's their total purpose? What's the lore behind here? We're not totally clear on this just yet. But the interesting thing about the Concordians, first of all, is that their price is relatively low right now. You can pick them up for 5 or 6 Sol. And second of all, they gave us a little bit of a lore teaser here that these were created by the 5th faction. They are not the 5th faction. They were created by the 5th faction. And what do they have going on behind the garage? What was their purpose? What are they doing here? It's kind of all interesting. Now, of course, there are rare attributes associated with all of this too, which is, always fun and to look through. You can also dig through the attributes, kind of filter them out. We know things like there are some, like the gravity cannon is the rarest attribute for the gun. It's like this little cool big gun thing. Floor on that is significantly higher at 48, but that's still relatively low for an ultra rare attribute that goes on in the gecko space. Now, there is a rarity and ranking on their website for these two, so you can check that out if you want to dig into how rare is this Concordian, what is its rank, what are the attributes, and how rare are those attributes. You can learn more about the specs that are going onto this. Again, this is an airdrop. This is free money that people got for having these. If I look at this, I'm looking at this guy for 60 Sol right here. He's got the cannon here. If you really think about it, this person was just chilling out on a Sunday, and next thing you know, he got airdropped a $12,000 asset. That's significant. Of course it has to sell for that, but that's amazing. This is why airdrops are a big deal, is you had your assets that you were already happy to hold. You already had your geckos, and now next thing you know, you've got a chance to play for more, at no additional cost. And next thing, this person just got a $12,000 airdrop if this thing actually sells, which, I hope it does. I hope it does for that person. I think that would be really cool. I think it'd be really good for the ecosystem too. And if you believe that NFTs are about to take off again, it could happen, right? Next up was the airdrop from the Rogue Sharks. Now, the Rogue Sharks started throwing out starfish, I think, towards the end of last week, and then over the weekend, they actually deployed some surfboards. And these surfboards are actually formatted in such a way that you could use them as a banner, which I think is really, really cool for your profile if you're super into that. Now, what is the utility of these things again? We're not totally clear on the road that they're taking us on yet. I think it's going to be interesting to watch how this all plays out. But the Rogue Sharks did announce divisions in their Discord and a little bit on Twitter over the weekend. So if you have Rogue Sharks that have specific attributes, things like a gold jersey or a lifeguard vest or something like that, then that qualifies you to enroll in one of the divisions where you actually have the chance to participate in building specific parts of their ecosystem and their project. A lot of the proceeds and a lot of the things that you build in there are actually going to contribute to charitable donations. So it's actually worth your time and effort to put some good back into the world, some good vibes back into the world, and do stuff like that, which is really cool. I personally am using my gold Rogue Shark, which has a gold jersey, to enroll in the Millionaires division. That way I have the opportunity to help design their yacht. They are building, I think it's an NFT of a yacht, a virtual yacht, but they're going to auction it off, and then that's going to be used to create proceeds and donations to charity, which is a really cool thing, and I'm proud to be a part of that. I'm proud to be a Rogue Shark holder right now. Now, of course, one of the other things that's supposed to be dropping any minute right now, one of the most anticipated ones to drop, is the Naked Meerkat Beach Club. What's interesting about this is playing on the fact, a little teaser in the first generation of Meerkats, where there were a tiny handful of them that were actually truly naked. They had no attributes associated with them. What's cool about this is almost every single attribute in the new collection is a new design. Of course, they don't have any clothes or very many attributes, but they do have some attributes, things like a mouth attribute, things like a chain attribute. But they have new furs, they have new backgrounds, they have new eyes, they have I mean, there's just a whole lot of new stuff here that I think is really, really cool. They did a lot of collaborations here. Some of these, in fact, all of these designs look really, really good if you ask me, but some of these designs are absolutely off the charts. I'm trying to find, there's a Solana skin. Look at how good the Solana skin fur looks. That is so cool, especially with the Gmoot background. It's kind of funny too. So we kind of got like a little wink eye, a new llama chain, Solana fur, Gmoot background, very cool collaboration. This should be dropping any minute now. They actually were minting this live, and if you are on this Moonrank website, moonrank.app, you could actually watch these get minted in real time. That would actually populate the website with the latest mint as they were going live until they were finally minted. But they paused the mint. They lost some precious hours. These were supposed to drop last night, and they couldn't because the mint was delayed. Now they're all minted. The snapshot has been completed, and these should be airdropped really any minute now to the holders of the Meerkats. Very cool thing about these is holders of this generation of Meerkats do not get any royalties. Therefore, these will be tradable on every exchange. Alpha Art has already confirmed that they will have these listed on their exchange. Magic Eden is already advertising that they'll have these on their exchange. I think this looks so cool. I'm so very incredibly excited about this launch. I hope I get one of those Solana furs because I think it looks so cool. Another special drop that was supposed to happen last night but got delayed until this morning was the Red Panda Squad's Halloween drop. Now, these are 250 very rare, very exclusive Red Panda derivatives that they made, and it was just kind of part of their Halloween contest that if you held red pandas in your wallet with specific attributes, things like a zombie, things like a skeleton, things like one that was holding a dagger, then this qualified you to get one of these rare airdrops. Now, they had a technical issue that they delayed it, but it's going to be dropped, I believe, at any point this morning, and then winners of the Halloween drop will be able to actually show these off, which is really cool. This was the exclusive one of one. This is going to be the rarest Halloween one. It is fully animated, which I think is really, really cool. But again, the artwork, look at this, look at these. This is perfect right here. These are cool. These are hilarious. These are fun. And people who hold these, this is going to be kind of a true collector's item where throughout the different, holidays that come up in the years that pass, we'll be able to look back and say like, well, I've got a red panda and I've got Gen 1 Halloween and stuff like that. And I think that's really, really fun. So I expect this one to drop any minute now too. Now, the big airdrop that we still don't know much about when is this happening is, of course, the Degen Trash Pandas. This is one that's going to have a lot of hype, a lot of excitement, because Monolith is just an extraordinary artist. The Degen apes are so cool. The details are so fine that I'm really excited to see 20,000 Degen Trash Pandas about to flow into the ecosystem. 10,000 are going to be dropped to delisted holders. That's assuming that all of them are delisted, which they're not. And the remainders are going to be left open to a mint, which I think is really, really exciting. So with that being said, this is the Degen Trash Pandas. We don't know when these are coming up or when the snapshot's getting taken place or anything like that, but it's nonetheless one that I'm really, really excited about. So now, with that being said, what are the other things that we want to keep our eyes on in the marketplace that's happening this upcoming week? I think, for me, the biggest headline that we need to watch over the coming week or two is the Pesky penguins right now. This is kind of interesting, right? They've been teasing this lore over the past few days. There's this evil wizard Gargalon, I think is how they want to say it. Now, what is this wizard up to? What are the Pesky penguins planning here? Because it feels like there's something really, really special about to happen. And this is the type of thing that makes me go, you know what? I'm not going to list right now. I'm going to wait and see what they've got planned because this is interesting, right? I think they're up to something, and this is pretty cool. So this is the thing that I'm going to keep my eyes on the most. I think this is a good opportunity to turn tweet notifications on. That way, the moment some breaking news happens, you get alerted to it, and you can, hopefully get in there and make something cool happen, whatever evil Gargalon has going on. I wonder if it's going to be playing into the snowball mechanic. Is this, I don't know, just really, really interesting to keep my eye on this one. Then, of course, the upcoming mint, the only mint that I care about this week, and maybe till the end of time, is going to be Saiba Gang. Saiba Gang, as of right now, is slated to mint on Wednesday, October 27th. This is so exciting. Now, of course, I am affiliated with this project. I'm an advisor on their team, but nonetheless, I've watched this project grow from the very beginning, and more than anything, if you watched my video last week on why I am legitimately excited about Saiba Gang, you know it's not just sick artwork. You know that they are legitimately going to take your NFTs on an adventure. It's going to be a very, very big deal. And details about that adventure, things like building the universe itself, they actually have competitions where they allow the community to participate in building the lore itself in a very fun and interactive and intuitive way. They're ultimately going to be guiding the end-to-end story, but coming up with these cool ideas about how to design the actual environment, I think is really, really cool. Again, if you didn't watch the video, you want to get over there and learn about the city. This is Wintermoon City. They actually drew it up. They talked about the 4 divisions and what goes on in the center of the city. And then you want to bring up the artwork itself and zoom in on those fine details. Look close. Look at each of the tiny little details and where there's glowing, where there's shading, because these details matter. And there was it's almost hard to put into words how much effort was put into this project. It was really, really spectacular. So I'd really encourage you to follow Saiba Gang, jump in their Discord, and keep your eyes peeled on them. The mint is this week. I'm very excited about it. I will be minting it, and that's just going to be, this is it for me. This is the mint of the week for me. Now what I want to do is I want to shift gears and tell you about what kinds of projects I'm researching right now. Now, don't take these as official endorsements of these projects. I just want to show you things that are on my radar, things that I'm digging deeper into, and some things that I came across that I thought were actually cool and unique about what these projects are doing. This is the stranded unicorns that I'm looking at here, and what intrigues me about them isn't necessarily the art, but it's more about their mechanic. What they're doing is you're starting off with just a base layer, a base unicorn, and as time progresses, they reveal or drip out additional traits. There is a mechanic where you can get a free trait to add to your unicorn, or you can purchase more rare traits. The more rare you have, the more likely you are to level up your character, which I think is a really, really cool deal. They call this fusible characters and traits, and then they're going to have a leaderboard where the community kind of interacts with this leaderboard, and all of these parts are going to be integrated into a secondary marketplace. So it's kind of an interesting concept where you can more or less build your character based on your budget. Of course, there are free options out there so that you can still level up and participate in this ecosystem, but if you see something that really catches your eye and you want to buy that additional piece, you can do that, and then you'll be rewarded for it by leveling up even further. So it's pretty fascinating that there is a free-to-play component of this game that they have here, but also that there's the ability to pay to upgrade yourself. This is a first in-house Layer 2 game. There's going to be a formation of a DAO, all of these things that I think are pretty interesting, but nonetheless, it's just the mechanic here of building your own unicorn with these additional traits, this fusing of traits into your base character. I think that's a really interesting thing that they're doing. Next up is ArtPunks. Now, what is this all about? Here they're taking CryptoPunks and they are splicing them with pieces of actual real artwork. Now, this is an idea, I've actually seen something like this before, but where this gets interesting is, first of all, they're using punks, and they're kind of stylizing the punks in such a way that's really, really cool. But second of all, they're actually adding the details about the original piece of artwork into the metadata itself. So I can see the author's nationality was Spanish. It was in the Romanesque movement. The original title was called Facundus. The painting year was 1050. It was an illustration. But then I also see the details of the CryptoPunk. So the luxurious beard, the regular shades, the hoodie. This is really, really cool. Beyond that, they also have the rankings of the original CryptoPunk that it was based off of, as well as the ranking of this ArtPunk. So Again, I think this is a really interesting idea to fuse two pieces of artwork together and retain the original metadata in such a way that's pretty unique. Now, talking to the team a little bit about some of the ideas that they have going on, you could be a collector of Picasso, for instance, and go buy all of these ArtPunks that are based off of Picasso derivatives, and then you have the ability to do more because you've collected, a set of Picassos. So I'd encourage you to research this project a little more. I think this is, again, a really unique and clever idea. Now, another one that caught my attention is a project called the Kaizen Corps. These are based off of mechs, and the thing that really caught my attention, of course, is going to be their hype video that they have here. There is sound, there is audio that they put on this. So I'd encourage you to jump over to their Twitter account, Kaizen Corps. This project is very, very early in its stages. They are very much still in the build phase. There's not a whole lot of details out there about the Kaizen Corps right now, but the artwork and this animation that they've already done for a bit of a hype is something that caught my attention. So I'll be following this journey moving forward a little bit. I met with the team very briefly. I was impressed by what they had to say. I was impressed by their business acumen. But again, this is one that I'd like to learn more about this project and watch how they grow and evolve over the coming weeks. So this is one that I'm going to tell you is on my radar. Now, the last one that I'm going to tell you is on my radar is the Moonrocks. Now, this is another project that is very, very, very early in their stages. But I met with them and I felt it was the thing that impressed me about this project again was what they're in it for. They were very clear that this is not just an NFT about cool artwork for them. They want to build a culture. They want to build a brand. They want to build a community. They were very, very, very community driven. So much so that right now they're doing a giveaway where they're giving away 500 pre-sale spots, 3 MacBook Pros, 5 VIP NFTs. I know what that leads to because that's what we talked about. I'm not going to spoil it for them. That's their news to share. And 10 Soul for 5 participants. So this is a huge giveaway that's happening right now, and I'd encourage you to jump over there to the Moonrocks and check them out. Beyond that, the artwork is pretty cool, pretty stylish. They are, it's kind of got this Frieza vibe to it, right? And the rock that they're holding is going to play an important factor in their ecosystem too. So this is another one that is definitely on my radar. Really dig what they're all about. Love the fact that they're more interested in building a brand than just an NFT project. So again, this is one that's on my radar. So this is what's going on in the NFT marketplace today. It is airdrop season. We are about to see, or I'm predicting, again, not financial advice, do your own research. I am predicting we are about to see a rotation of capital out of tokens themselves, out of coins themselves, and into NFTs as people start to realize massive gains that were happening at the end of last week. Then, at that point, you could kind of expect to see a bit of a bull run. I really think the blue chips stand to succeed the most right now. The smaller ones are going to have an interesting time as they try to steal attention away from the blue chips. But big, long-term investors, institutional investors, that's where they're going to go first is the blue chips because they're not in it for, a quick run and then capitalize on some money and bail out. They want to do things over a long term. They want to go for, the multi-million-dollar moonshots. So that's what's going on right now in the Solana NFT ecosystem. Please, if you've enjoyed this content, there is a free button right beneath me called subscribe. And if you click that, that is really going to help me out tremendously. That tells YouTube that you think I'm doing a good job. You can also follow me on Twitter as well as TikTok. That is Knox_trades. Go find me and follow me there. That, again, it's the same thing. It's free to click, but it helps me out a lot. It tells those platforms that you think I'm doing a good job. All right. Thanks for stopping by, y'all. I'll see you in the next one.